And yeah, they didn't get a second superstar for LeBron to play with this past season. But, in essence, Magic was that superstar.
Right.
And that was the tandem that you thought would, okay, they're going to roll up their sleeves and they're going to work hard this summer and onward and upward. So, yeah, I have a hard time balancing, those objections. And frankly, you could make a case if he loves the Lakers as much as he says, and we have no reason to doubt that, he could have been the guy to terminate the coaching staff or whatever it is that's been alluded to here and then resign and sort of take that bullet for the team and let them move on with a clean slate. It could have worked that way, too.
Yeah, and Ash, it begs the question here, for a team that was in as bad of shape as they are, just in terms of their own history, 6 consecutive years of missing out in the playoffs, and you look on all their years prior to this 6-year stretch, they'd only missed the playoffs 5 total years, and that dates back to the Minneapolis days. But with Magic leaving now, does that put even more of a stain on the organization, make it even harder for this organization to have to go out and recruit top-notch free agents this summer or manufacture some sort of trade to bring in that second star that Magic alluded to this team desperately needing?
Well, it certainly, leaves them in a position of turmoil. And when you've got, in the same building, an organization that seems to be giving a united front, seems to have overachieved this season so far and still might have some tricks up its sleeves. And, we're talking about the Clippers. It's a much more competitive situation, I think, than maybe we would have thought with the Lakers' history and Magic Johnson, going to bat with free agents. I think that free agents who might want Los Angeles and the opportunities and the climate and everything else that market offers, they can look at the Clippers and say, I don't need that drama. I've got a very solid basketball organization here to look at, and I think it's made things tougher on that front for the Lakers.
And if you're of the belief that Magic Johnson is the greatest Laker of all time, which you very well could make that argument, if he doesn't want to be there, why should anybody who has zero affiliation with the Lakers want to be there? It just makes it for a very tenuous offseason, in which it was already going to be the most important offseason in Laker history. And now this, Ash.
Yeah, I mean, and we all think of, they're twin, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and it's not just the timing of their careers, it's their competitive natures. And this just does not mesh with our image of Magic as a competitor, that he would choose this time to step down. Some sort of orderly transition, something that would be announced, in advance, an end date put on his term, that's different. But for this to happen now with at the very end of this regular season with so much in front of them, it just makes you wonder. And I don't know, I'm just gonna put this out there too. I just wonder, how much is this going to stick to LeBron James?
Yeah.
Look, LeBron is a lightning rod, right? And wherever he goes, there's drama, there's passive aggressiveness. This, to me, would seem to be the biggest storm cloud yet that has rolled in when LeBron has relocated.
No question.
And what do we make of that?
Yeah, no question. That's a great point there, Ash. Steve Ashburner, check out his work at NBA.com. I want to read a tweet here from Bill Oram, who covers the Lakers currently for The Athletic. He tweets out, nearly 2 hours after he spontaneously stepped to the podium, a door leading to the loading dock swung open, a cold wind whipped through Staples Center, and Magic said, "Bye for good this time." It is one of the strangest nights in NBA history, and we will continue our coverage as the Lakers, by the way, are moments away from tipping off game number 82 of their season. We got plenty more to come on this edition of Game Time Live. The national anthem is underway there at Staples Center. We'll continue talking with Griff and Czar about Magic Johnson stepping down. All right, that's the news from Steve Kerr. Steph Curry should be okay. Magic Johnson announcing he has stepped down as president of basketball operations. That is our lead story today. I'd imagine it will be the lead story for the next week, leading right into the beginning of the NBA playoffs. We got David Griffin, we got Mike Fratello, Jared Greenberg with you. We're going to be joined by guests here throughout the night. Let's just get some more reaction as you guys get to. We were literally about to go on the air for crunch time, so we just kind of got the news and went with it. As you're digesting here, Griff, what more comes to mind from this news?
Luke Kennard's second half, not what I'm supposed to talk about right now.
The Kennard family thanks you.
Exactly. No, I mean, this is stunning, obviously. And Coach, we've talked about this in all the years that you've been in the NBA and the years that I was in the NBA. I don't ever recall an evening quite like this. To say this must be a full moon would be an understatement. Magic Johnson, Dwayne Wade, Dirk Nowitzki, all in the same night. Just a remarkable turn of events. And in LA, you could feel, it was palpable, Magic's love and affection for Jeannie Buss and that Laker organization. For him to make the decision he did in this fashion today, without seeing her face to face, either there's much, much more to this story, or we really don't understand what that dynamic would look like. Because someone you love as a sister, it would seem deserved to hear it from you personally, but if she would have talked you out of it, maybe you can't do that.
What I felt was the pain coming from Magic, and that was the biggest thing that I was getting from the message, because, as you mentioned, it was quite an extended press conference, and he kept on trying to say things a number of different ways, but saying the same thing in essence, and that pain and agony of whatever it is. And I have to kind of believe, like Griff said, tomorrow or the next day, or it just seems like coming up shortly. Stay tuned. We're going to hear a little bit more. Whatever that might be. I don't know what it is, but whatever it might be is what inflicted this pain. When he is talking about whispers behind your back, and that he can't handle that, that's not what he's about, then there's something probably that we'll find out.
One of the big quotes for me was, tomorrow I would have had to affect someone's livelihood in their life. And the only thing that that really speaks to is a personnel decision you would have had to make tomorrow, which very much seems to allude to the fact that Woj, Adrian Wojnarowski, has also told us that the coaching staff very much believed that they were going to be removed. So you can connect the dots a little bit that Magic didn't want to make that decision. What's the most vexing to me in all of this is that relationship, which you can tell is very deep-seated, real familial love that they have. Magic not wanting to see her tonight actually puts even bigger decision on her plate. So now her task is that much harder because she has to replace Magic as well. That franchise has an incredibly tough slog ahead of them, and this just adds to the issues.
But one thing, if I can just jump in here, I think that decision of the coaching staff now slides down the ladder. You don't have to do that.
Correct.
Either way. Extend them, bring them back, extend them, or fire them. That's not the most important thing, as you know right now. It's who's stepping in and filling that spot that Magic just left, because then you move forward with that person.
Well, and to that point, Coach, we showed Shaquille discussing this and very openly campaigning for Jerry West. If you're Jeannie Buss and you are going to have someone of the magnitude of Jerry West run the franchise, he's going to want to make that decision himself. So you're absolutely right. Everything else is on hold now until that situation is remedied.
All right, more from Griffin's R in a moment. Let's turn our attention to the phone now, where Matt, who is lead writer on NBA.com, he's from the Hang Time podcast, Sekou Smith, joins us right now on the phone. Sekou, thanks for taking your time on this massive breaking news story here with Magic Johnson resigning as president of basketball operations. Sekou, let's take the LeBron angle here first with you. LeBron, who had been known throughout his second stint in Cleveland of signing short-term deals, surprised not us by going to L.A., but maybe surprised some by signing a 4-year deal with the Lakers. Any thought in your mind at this hour that maybe LeBron is having second thoughts of committing 4 years to an organization that now has a massive overhaul of its front office?
No, I don't think so, Jared. I think if I'm LeBron, I'm looking at this as an opportunity to maybe have an impact and have an effect on who comes in next and how you build going forward. I think he had a really good relationship with Magic. So obviously he's going to want to have a similar relationship or certainly a good relationship with whoever replaces Magic. But if you're LeBron, you made that decision to go to the Lakers for more reasons than just basketball. I think we've all come to that understanding. So, no, I don't think there's any regret. If you had any regrets in your LeBron, it was on Christmas when you pulled that groin, and it changed the complexion of your season, but not now.
Magic Johnson spoke very highly of the roster that he leaves behind. What are your thoughts on Magic saying that we are just one player away from being at that same level of being able to compete for a Western Conference Finals appearance?
I think that's ambitious, from Magic. I don't agree that they're as close as he thinks they were or thinks they are. I listened to his entire presser or whatever that was called, Jared. Of all the words that he said that really struck me, it was when he was asked about Rob Pelinka and he didn't give a glowing response about Pelinka. That, of everything that was said, that's what would worry me more than anything, is that maybe there was a disconnect where Magic and Rob Pelinka were concerned, which would be kind of surprising, given that they came in together. But maybe there's something internal going on more than what we've, been led to believe tonight. And we'll find out later that maybe there were some disconnects or some rifts in the organization elsewhere, because it doesn't add up that Magic would handle it the way he did. I think it's an honorable thing to do, to step aside if you're not willing to grind long-term to help the franchise get back to where it needs to be. There's no sense in you staying in a job you're miserable in or your heart's not in. So for him to take a step back and get out of that mix, so he doesn't ruin a 40-plus year relationship with somebody that he cares deeply about in Jeannie Buss, makes sense to me. But the method, the way he did it, is strange. And some of the pauses in his speech, when he was specifically asked about Pelinka, whether or not he thought Rob Pelinka was the right guy for the job as general manager of the Lakers, he didn't give the kind of glowing endorsement of a guy he worked closely with for the last 9 months that I would expect.
Great perspective there from Sekou Smith. Check out his work at NBA.com. Check out the Hang Time podcast. Sekou, you, like the rest of us, will be very busy for the next few days covering this breaking news story. Magic Johnson stunning the world, stepping down as president of basketball operations of the Los Angeles Lakers. We'll have plenty more on that story coming up here on Game Time Live. We'll also cover the race for 8th in the Eastern Conference. Marvin Williams, he's healthy enough to play and healthy enough to help Charlotte pick up a big win on Tuesday night.